Hey, welcome back to 10-Minute English Stories, the channel where every story teaches you something real about life. Before we begin today's story, I just want to say, this one is different. This one is going to stay with you. So if you're driving, relaxing, or just taking a break, take a deep breath, and let's get into it. He was just a 12-year-old boy with holes in his shoes and an empty stomach. And what he was doing in secret would change everything. Marcus Webb didn't have much. He lived in a small apartment on the east side of Dayton, Ohio, the kind of neighborhood where the streetlights flicker at night and the corner store has bars on the windows. His mom worked double shifts at a laundry facility, coming home so tired she'd fall asleep on the couch, still wearing her work uniform. His dad had been gone since Marcus was 5. They didn't talk about that. Every morning, Marcus walked 2 miles to school. Same cracked sidewalk, same gray sky, same rumbling stomach, because breakfast was a luxury on most days. But there was one thing that broke up that walk. Mr. Earl Hutchins was 79 years old, and he lived alone in a small house at the corner of Maple and Fifth, the kind of house that used to be beautiful. You could still see it if you looked hard enough. The carved wood porch posts, the stained glass above the front door. But the gutters were sagging now. The garden was overgrown. And Mr. Earl moved slowly, with a cane, ever since his hip surgery 2 winters ago. Marcus noticed him one Tuesday morning in October. The old man was standing at the edge of his driveway, staring at a pile of fallen leaves like it had personally offended him. He had a rake in his hand, but he wasn't using it. He just stood there. Marcus almost walked past. Almost. "You need help with that?" he called out. Mr. Earl squinted at him. "Boy, don't you have somewhere to be? School doesn't start for 40 minutes. A long pause. "Fine. Rake's right there." It took Marcus 20 minutes to clear that yard. He missed homeroom. Got a detention slip. Completely worth it. The next morning, he showed up again. This time, without being asked. Mr. Earl was sitting on the porch with 2 cups of coffee. He slid one across the railing without a word. Marcus didn't even drink coffee. He drank it anyway. Every single morning for the next 3 years, Marcus stopped at Mr. Earl's house. Some days, it was raking leaves or shoveling snow. Some days it was carrying groceries up the porch steps, or replacing a light bulb on a high shelf, or just sitting in silence while the old man read his newspaper. Mr. Earl never talked much. But when he did, man, he talked. He'd served in Vietnam, lost 2 friends in 1 week, came home to a country that didn't want to hear about it, married a woman named Ruth, who he called the only smart decision I ever made. She'd passed 8 years ago. Their son lived in Seattle and called maybe twice a year. "You ever get lonely?" Marcus asked once. The old man was quiet for a long time. Every single day, he finally said, "But lonely and alone are 2 different things, son." Marcus didn't fully understand that yet, but he would. Marcus was 15 when things got hard. Really hard. His mom got laid off. Rent went unpaid. There were 2 weeks in January where they ate rice and canned beans for dinner every night. Marcus started working weekends at a car wash, handing every dollar to his mom without her even asking. But he kept showing up at Mr. Earl's. Every single morning. One day, the old man looked at him differently. Not with pity. Mr. Earl didn't do pity, but with something deeper. "You look tired," he said. "I'm fine." "Marcus." Something about the way he said his name. Just 2 syllables. But it cracked him open. "We might lose the apartment," Marcus admitted. It was the first time he'd said it out loud. His voice broke on the last word. Mr. Earl nodded slowly. He didn't say "I'm sorry." He didn't say "it'll be okay." He said, "Go get the toolbox from the shed. The back porch steps are rotting and I need someone with young knees." Marcus almost laughed. Almost cried. Did both, a little. They fixed the steps together. Didn't talk about the apartment again that day. But the next morning, there was an envelope on the porch railing. No name on it. Inside, $300 cash. And a note in shaky handwriting that said, "For the electric bill. Don't argue with me." Marcus stood there for a full minute in the cold. Then he knocked on the door and said, "I'm not taking your money, Mr. Earl." The old man opened the door, looked at him dead in the eyes, and said, "It's not charity. It's what neighbors do. Now go to school." Marcus went to school. He took the money. He never forgot it. Years passed. Marcus graduated high school, first in his family. Got a partial scholarship to Ohio State. Studied architecture because he'd always noticed buildings. Always noticed which ones were falling apart and imagined what they could become. He visited Mr. Earl every time he came home. But in his junior year of college, he got a phone call. Mr. Earl had passed away, quietly, in his sleep, the way people said he would have wanted. Marcus drove home that same night. At the funeral, which was small, mostly neighbors and one church friend, a lawyer approached him afterward. "Are you Marcus Webb?" "Yes." The man handed him an envelope. Inside was a letter and a deed. Mr. Earl had left him the house. The whole thing, free and clear. Marcus stood in that parking lot reading the letter 3 times because he couldn't believe it the first 2. It said, "Marcus, I watched you walk past my house for 3 years before you stopped. And you didn't have to stop. But you did. Every day after that, you showed me that goodness still existed in this world. You didn't help me because you wanted something. You helped me because it was right. Ruth and I never had enough time to do what we planned with this house. I'd like you to finish what we started. Whatever you build it well. Your friend, Earl." Marcus didn't sell that house. He renovated it every weekend for 2 years, alongside his mom, a few friends, and eventually a small crew he hired from his own neighborhood. Today, that house on the corner of Maple and 5th is a community center. Free tutoring, after-school programs, a little library in what used to be the living room. On the wall by the entrance, there's a framed photograph of an old man sitting on a porch with a cup of coffee. And underneath it, a small wooden sign that reads, "Lonely and alone are 2 different things." Every year, hundreds of kids walk through that door. Most of them, just like Marcus once was, are simply looking for somewhere warm to sit. And every single one of them is welcomed in. Because one boy stopped. When he didn't have to. When nobody was watching. When he had nothing to give but his time. And that turned out to be everything. You never know what a small act of kindness is planting. Show up for people. Especially the quiet ones. Especially the ones who never ask. Because sometimes the life you change ends up changing yours. If this story touched your heart even a little bit, please hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second, but it means everything to this channel. And if you're new here, welcome to the family. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a story. We post new stories every week, right here on 10-Minute English Stories. Drop a comment below and tell me, is there a Mr. Earl in your life? Someone who quietly changed everything for you. I read every single comment. Every one. Share this video with one person today. Just one. Because maybe they need to hear this story more than you know. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next story.